This is the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast, where we follow the journey of one man as he attempts to play America's 100 greatest golf courses in a single calendar year. Ted Fenton and Michael Higgins break down and plan the golfing adventure of a lifetime that is scheduled to tee off on January 1st, 2023. Each weekly episode takes you inside the ropes to America's 100 greatest golf courses. Please join us each week as we talk to head PGA professionals, industry leaders, and some of the luckiest golfers on earth. Let's join Teddy and Higgy now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Teddy Fenton, joined here with my good friend and high school playing partner, Mr. Michael Higgins. How are you this morning, Higgy?
Teddy, I am doing great. It's good to see you, first of all, but yeah, I am super excited. I'm super excited, Teddy, to have our guest on today and to talk about one of the top 100 golf courses. We're going to be talking to Ben Bridgers, who's the Director of Golf and Operations at the Pinehurst Resort in Pinehurst, North Carolina. Ben, welcome. So great to have you here joining us today. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, Mike, thanks. And Teddy, thank you guys for both having me. It's looks to be a treat. So,
well, why I'm so excited is last week I was actually in Pinehurst with the New England PGA Pro-Am, and we
lucky
had 26. I'm very lucky, very fortunate. 26 teams were down there. I actually went to college in North Carolina. Went to Elon University many moons ago, and I was able to pair up with my college roommates, and we played. So it was not only is Pinehurst, it's a magical golf experience, but when you're playing with two of your best friends in the world, and it makes it that much more special. So it was awesome. I'm sure you have many people tell you that, Ben. They've had amazing golf experiences playing at the Pinehurst Resort.
Yeah, it's obviously it's a very special place, and we always kind of joke, right? So we're out there, and I've been here almost 9 years, and I still take pictures of the property when I'm out there, and that's when you live at a special place, is when you're out and there's a sunset or there's snow. I mean, my background on my phone is kind of a rainstorm around the putter boy, and just so we obviously live it and love it, and it's great to hear so many fond experiences with best friends and family members, and so it's the mecca of golf, right? So you get so many great people coming and enjoying it, which is what it's meant to be.
Well, you talk about pictures, and obviously we all the four of us took pictures with our phones, and then we shared them afterwards. And I'm on the flight home looking through 691 pictures we all took at the resort when you added them all up together. So I don't think there's the inch of the property that we didn't take a picture of. It's pretty special. From the second I walked in there, as the sun was rising, there's that Rolex clock right by the start of the cradle there, and you come around the corner and you're looking over the range, and the sun's coming up. It's pretty special. It was really, really cool.
The video you took at like 6:30 in the morning, Mike, and sent me was, man, it was gorgeous. Just absolutely peaceful.
Dew on the course, and like steam coming up off the course as the sun's coming up, and Ben, you get to see that every day.
I'm very lucky. Absolutely.
Well, before we get into number two, Ben, I just wanted, just because of my experience, been there a few times. So many golfers need to go to the resort. So before we start talking about number two, I just wanted to talk about the resort, because when you go there, and to have so many golf courses on property and a couple golf courses off property, and there's so much to do, and from the ability to take shuttles everywhere. I stayed at the Holly, which is down in the village, and it's absolutely amazing. It was the original clubhouse, I guess, right? Or the original part of the resort back in 1895.
1895, right? Yep.
Yeah, which is amazing, and you're able to walk around the village and go to some local establishments, and it's just peaceful, relaxing, sitting on a rocking chair, having an old fashioned. At night, it's just pretty special. But then, when we were driving in, Ben, I told the guys two of them had never been there before, and I said, take out your cameras, get the video going, because when we pull into the resort, it's like a magical experience, because you come in and you have, Pinehurst carved out of the hedges, and you've got the Carolina Hotel right there. I mean, what an entrance, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I remember, so I got the job April 17th of 2013. And if you can't hear it in my voice, I'm from North Carolina originally, and just a great, I mean, obviously it was very special to me, but I still have the picture. I was driving my little Honda Accord at that time, and I start coming down the lane there, and like you said, seeing Pinehurst and the Queen of the South, the Carolina hotels kind of popped out, and I lean out with my camera of my car, and I take that same video that you're talking about. So it was I get chill bumps kind of talking about it, but yeah, it's definitely special, and it's cool to hear someone like you and other people talk about it.
Well, my first time stepping on property was back in 1999, and four of our staff went there and had a great time. We played 1, 2, 6, 7, 8 my first trip, and coming back last year for the first time in many, many years, I could not believe how much it changed. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of those changes. If you've never been there, it appears as if it's been here for 1,000 years, right? But if you have been and you haven't returned in a while, you're going to see some pretty cool changes. So how many golf courses are at the main clubhouse?
Sure. So, we've got 1 through 5 runs out of the main hub here. And then we've got the Cradle, which is our par 3. And, what an awesome little place that is. Like you just mentioned, walking past the Rolex clock and just kind of overseeing that. So we basically, Gil Hans renovated Pinehurst number 4 and kind of complemented it to Pinehurst number 2. And he and Bob Farron, our director of grounds and golf course maintenance, had just had some conversations about, this would be a great spot for a par 3. And so, it really is a wow factor. And I say this all the time, it's probably one of the best things that ever will happen to Pinehurst. Because like you said, it's always been here. Obviously we just eclipsed our 125th year, and heading in the great direction. But it is a quaint little village. It used to be probably a little bit sleepy in a sense, where it was just really all golf and less fun, very formal, which is still, we try to keep one eye on the past and then one eye on the future, right? So the par 3, you can go out there with your buddies, your high school buddies, your college buddies. You can take your grandkids out there. First time golfers, right? They can hit a couple shots out there and still have fun and not feel like it's they're being rushed. And we had a little pine cone bar out there, which was kind of Bullet Bourbon does a little trailer, basically a teardrop trailer, and so we created that. Ed Peckles, our director of food and beverage for the resort, kind of created that, and it really it's always been a hit. And the original plan kind of had a little different routing, and then had kind of a bar out there. And so we just started the Cradle Crossing, or opened the Cradle Crossing, which is a little bar. We got 2 fire pits out there, and it's really kind of become a destination where even if you're not playing, if you're not staying with Pinehurst, you come out there and have a drink and enjoy the sunset and watch people enjoy the game of golf, right? And so that's been a great addition. Obviously, you go back to, we used to host the Tour Championship in 91, 92, and we had the first U.S. Open in 1999. And really ever since 1999, I think it kind of put Pinehurst and the resort back on the map, so to speak. And Don Pageant, Don Pageant Sr. was our director of golf back then, and kind of helped bring the tour back. His goal was to bring championship golf back to Pinehurst. And then his son, Don Pageant II, was our president back in 2014 when we hosted the back-to-back U.S. Opens. And he made the decision with our executive team to kind of restore Pinehurst number 2 with Ben Crenshaw and Bill Core back to what it was intended to be. And I think that's, if I had to, the 99 Open kind of pinpointed it and brought it back, and then it was, hey, here's the commitment of what we're going to do to celebrate the world of golf.
It's pretty. Go back to the Cradle real quick. I think back in '99 when I played there, I believe, was that the first hole on course number 1 and number 5?
First hole of 5, and then in first hole of 3.
3, got it, 3.
Yeah.
And I remember walking up last year for the first time again, and I'm like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to give a shout out to your manager of the Cradle. Is his name Ben as well, or?
Well, there's you talking about the guy that runs the shack down there?
He runs a shack.
Well, it's Ed. You got plenty of them down there, but Ed's probably one that's there most of the time. He got glasses.
Man, he what an absolute gentleman, and he was such a gracious host to all of us. We had a little shootout skins game after our round. The teams went on the Cradle and did a little skins game, and we had 2 hole-in-ones. We did half our field on Monday, half our field on Tuesday, and I was in the last group on Monday, and 3 groups ahead of us on the second hole made a hole-in-one, and it was a front left hole location. And you've played it a bunch. You know you can't get there if you hit at it. You've got to hit above it and try to bring it down, and that's what the guy who made the hole-in-one did. So we play the first hole, we get to the second hole in the Cradle, and the second guy on my team, Mark, hits it. I said, we got to hit it past it and let it come back down. I've been watching all the groups, and sure enough, he hits it. It comes rolling back, hits the hole, lips out, and then goes all the way off the green. He had about a 30-footer, and I said, "Oh man, how about squashing the skin with another hole, back-to-back hole-in-one?" So that was pretty cool, and I have to recommend anyone who goes to the resort to play the Cradle. I believe the shortest hole was 35 yards, and if I'm not mistaken, the longest one was maybe 130. Ben, I'm somewhere around there.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's and the guys that are, like you said, Mike, the guys that are down there at the Cradle, they kind of make the experience, right? So we got a little coin that we give you, and they do a little presentation, and depending on who's there, most of the time they try to, there's kind of a board there that we created, kind of a winner's board or records board, so to speak, and you can actually flip your number. If you make a hole-in-one, they'll let you flip your number to, it's probably somewhere around 1175 right now or something like that. But it really is. It's a special place, and it's cool. It kind of, you can see the clubhouse from every hole, and if you feel like you're combined out there, you're with your group, but you're always interested in what everybody else is doing, because you feel like there can be a lot of hole-in-ones, and when someone makes one, you kind of get, you kind of celebrate, and it's just really, really cool.
Well, when you make a hole-in-one on number 2, and then after you finish playing 3, there's a refreshment stand right there to buy the first round of cocktails. It doesn't get much better than that. You don't have to wait very long to buy the round. Mm-hmm. But what I thought was cool, the first day we arrived, and again, two of my partners had never seen it before, and I said, we got to go over to the main clubhouse. We're just going to bring our putters, because it was 4:00 at night. And they're like, what, we're just going to putt around? I said, well, we're going to putt around, but you've never putted on anything like this. And, we come around the corner with our putters and a golf ball, and we get to the thistledew. And I'd love you just to kind of share a little story, a little background, a little history about the 18-hole putting course that you guys have at the main clubhouse.
I mean, I think that's the one thing that having the Cradle and thistledew right there, it just kind of makes it a play, kind of a hang, right? So you get a chance to get out there and relax a little bit, and basically before we renovated number 4 back in 2017, there was a little putting course, and it was called Thistledew. So there's a house in town back in 1912. There was a guy, he said, we're going to build a few holes in our backyard, and so he finished a little routing and put it all together, and he said, this will do, and so that's kind of
this will do.
This will do, So that kind of good old probably North Carolina person, but we kind of named it that, and kind of took that into history, but it was over by the first hole of course 4, and obviously it's way better over here by the clubhouse. You can, we have the Donald Ross Grill right there, so you could kind of have a function in the Donald Ross Grill, have a lunch, have a dinner, go out there and do some putting. But it's 18 holes, 70,000 square feet. I remember when John Jeffries, who's the superintendent on number 2, he was out there, and I'm like, man, how long is it going to take to mow this thing or roll this thing, And but it's 18 holes. Obviously we just say it's a par 36, but I'm sure it's closer to 54 sometimes. But we kind of put it in where it's it starts on one side and kind of goes around almost the entire green. We still leave a little top half for folks that are practicing their putting, or maybe just wanting to putt before their round. But when it gets fast, you can putt a few off the green. Normally it's around 17 or 18. We do actually. It's so busy. We double tee, right? So there's 2 9-hole rounds. There's a green course and a white course, and depending on the time of year, we'll either have it 18 or we'll have it 9 and 9. So. But it's really a lot of fun. It's a lot of humps, a lot of hills, and there's one knob that you got to putt. Sometimes you got to putt up to, and you can make 5 and 6s out there pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, and we did. We did for sure.
We got a little place out there. The tee marker has a place where you can hold your your bottled water or your cocktail, whichever you prefer to drink in the evenings. And but it's a great thing to have out there. Again, families can do it, guys trips, grandkids and grandparents. So, and that's really, I was standing out with Bob Devin. Bob Devin's our owner. He lives out in Dallas and has a house here. And his dad started Club Corp way back when in Dallas. And when they sold to KSO Capital Partners in 2007, Bob retained the rights to Pinehurst and has a home here called Phones Cottage. And, his vision and his passion for this place bleeds out. And, he's, we purchased the Donald Rouse house, which is on the 3rd hole there on Pinehurst number 2. He's helped, we started the Pinehurst Brewing Company, which we brew our own beer down in the village now. And it was the old steam plant that powered the Holly Inn back in 1895. So it's a really, really neat village, brewery, so to speak, Pinehurst Brewing Company. And so we make our own beer, can our own beer. We got a couple 1895 lager, and then there's the pivoted IPA. So if you're here, everybody's in the local beer craze. And so you come here and you want to drink some of that, or they've got great flatbreads and brisket. It's kind of a little barbecue place. So, but it's kind of revitalized that property. And so his commitment to this place is really unmatched. And we're so thankful that him and his family own it.
Well, I can say he does an amazing job, and I saw his home. I know you called it a cottage, but that's one of the nicest cottages I've ever seen. It's a pretty special place. So you're there with a couple buddies. You do the cradle, you do the thistle do. If you're going to play, let's say you're going to play 4 courses, 4 rounds of golf, you have to play number 4, which I think is magnificent. I think Gil Hans did a fabulous job. I loved it. I enjoyed playing number 4 every time I play it. And of course, you have to play number 2, and we'll get into number 2 here in a minute. But I always like starting with a warm up. And last year I played course number 1, which I thought was fun. We had a good time. We didn't get hurt too bad. And then this year we played number 3, which is also really, really fun. But man, that is the hardest, shortest golf course I have ever played in my entire life.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, when our folks come and stay in the hotels or come for an event, they historically would play courses 2, 4, and 8. 8's a Fazio golf course, 4 obviously Gil Hans, and 2 Donald Ross. So 1, 3, or 5 are right here at the main clubhouse. And so, 1 obviously is right where it all started. So it's a pretty neat it's got some great little, Donald Ross, you got some curves, you got some holes where you got to hit a few shots, where you got to hook them, you got a few slices. And, 3 is, when we basically started building the cradle, we moved the first hole over, and switched the actual second hole of 5 to be the first hole of 3, and just made some changes there. But it's 3 is really, really good. And we've got just some great views, especially in the afternoon. It's a great little afternoon golf course. Pace of play out there is obviously you can play it pretty quick. It's a par 68, 5,100 yards, and it is really hard. I mean, the greens, especially depending on where the pins are, there's lots of bunkers out there. The par 3s are really, really fun, right? I mean, but they're hard because there's not a lot of, you miss it in a certain area. If you miss it in the bunker and you don't hit a great shot, then it goes rolling off the side of the green. And, we had a Carolinas Golf Association event out here, and we had just kind of finished number 3. And the guys, I was like, I really like for you guys to play number 3. And they're like, no, we don't really want to. And I said, well, it was a 2-person, best ball of the 2. I said, I really need you to play number 3 because I want to see what everybody's going to shoot out here. And he's like, well, they're going to tear it up. It's 5,100 yards. Nobody shot. No twosome shot under par either day.
Come on.
No
4-ball?
In the 4-ball. Yeah. So
wow.
It was,
that's amazing.
It's going to be a fair test of golf, So now it was a little winter time. It was, the grass wasn't growing and it was probably a little cool, but still, I mean, like you said, it's some interesting putts, but great views out there. And you can kind of hit whatever you want, right? You don't have to hit driver all day. You can hit irons, you can hit some hybrids and work the ball. And I mean, it's really like Donald Ross golf.
For sure. Oh, for sure. And so I love starting out on either one or 3. And this year we played 7. Last year we played 8. I think 8 is magnificent. It's one of my favorite golf courses. And I hadn't played 7 since '99, and it was refreshing to play it again this year. I really enjoyed it. It was a great lineup for us this year. They were off property, but they're great.
Yeah, so obviously number 8, we talked about doing a renovation on number 8, and we're closing it down this summer for basically about 90 days and taking out some trees and kind of taking it back what it was intended. Obviously it's our centennial golf course, so in 1995 that they opened that golf course out there, and it's a special place. It's got a lot of wildlife out there, not a lot of houses, if very many at all. Greens are obviously they're still challenging. We are going to regrass them and kind of get a little bit of it doesn't drain as well as it did when it started. The trees are kind of growing up, so we're kind of take it back to that. But 7, Tiger Woods won a junior event out there in 1992. So that's kind of Tiger's claim to fame here at Pinehurst, and it's kind of the Big I Invitational was like it was a big time junior tournament out here in the Carolinas at that point. And but I think
the AJGA?
I don't think it was
the insurance youth insurance class or something like that.
Yeah, they call it the Big I for sure. But I think number 7 has got some teeth to it because it's down and then uphill, and really from the very back tees, which hopefully nobody's playing it from that far back. It can be very challenging. But number 9 has been a great addition for us. It's a Nicklaus golf course. That's kind of our membership is the signature membership. So they have access to 7 and 9 and then all the other golf courses. But it's got a great complement. That's the only golf course that still has bent grass here. Obviously Nicklaus greens are a little bit challenging. It's kind of a hooker's golf course, so to speak, drawer of the ball. But either one of those golf courses are a great complement. And then, 8, like you said, Mike, is fabulous.
Oh, it's great.
This episode is sponsored by our friends at Coast to Coast Hole-in-One. Add some excitement to your next charity, corporate, or even member guest golf event by including a hole-in-one prize on all of the par 3s. Whether the prize is a new car, a golf vacation, cash, or even a new set of clubs, we have a prize option for every budget. So be sure to visit coasttocoastholein1.com and have their friendly staff help you enhance your next event with Hole-in-One Insurance. Coast to Coast Hole-in-One has you covered from coast to coast.
So, well, let's talk about the big boy. Let's talk about the 29th ranked golf course in the America's top 100 greatest golf courses. It's actually number 6 on the top 100 greatest public golf courses, and it's been ranked since Golf Digest started the rankings in 1966. Its highest ranking was it peaked at number 9 for quite some time. It was actually from 1995 to 2002, and it's hosted so many major events, from PGA Championships to Ryder Cups to amateurs and opens. It is such a true test of golf, and it can host any event. And I did not play well down there. I had 2 scores in the 80s, a score in the 90s, and then I basically was giving up on my golf game. And we go to number 2, and it was almost a magical experience. I was 1 over par standing. I birdied 16. I'm 1 over par standing on the 17th tee, and then just started playing hockey and doubled 17 and 18 to come in. But one of the hardest golf courses I've ever played, one of the biggest golf courses around, and I was just playing out of my mind, which makes it even better. But man, to navigate those greens and the complexes and knowing where to hit it it's such a test of golf. But I putted more times from like 30, 40 feet off the green because I'm thinking, this is too tight. I can't chip this. I'm going to try to putt this. And it's something that we don't practice back home in Massachusetts. So it takes some time to perfect that. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that play.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously number 2 is, like you said, it's very special to us. It's really the crown jewel of the resort, right? So people come here to play 2, hosting, like I said, major championships, major golf. I mean, 1936 Ryder Cup, 51, or the 1936 PGA, 51 Ryder Cup, and then U.S. Opens, which we just were announced a couple years ago that we were the first anchor site. So we've got 24, we got 29, which we're going to do back to back in 29, which men's and women's, which will be awesome. I was here for the one in 14. It was what a celebration of golf that was, and then 35, 41, and 47. So obviously the USGA is moving their kind of a satellite office here. The golf house Pinehurst is real. The construction starts May 9th. And but yeah, I mean, it's the golf course, no matter what. And Mike, I've been where you are. I was 4 under par one day out there and went double bogey, bogey. I've shot 32 on the back 9 and 41 on the front. Those first 6 holes are very challenging to start, and especially the first hole. Not, you feel like it's a little gimme hole. You can hit hybrid, you can hit driver, you can hit an iron. The longer hitters hit irons off the tee, but man, you hit that first green and it rolls left into the bunker, and all of a sudden you're going to make 5 or 6, and then you go to 2, you got a long iron in, and if you bail it out to the right, you're going to make 6. And then 3 is kind of it should be a gimme. Payne Stewart birdied that hole every day in the 99 U.S. Open. But it's if you hit it left in the bunker or over the green, you can make 6. So it's and then the 6th hole, the par 3, man, what a hole! If you make birdie out there, you have won the lottery. Big bunkers on the left, and so it's just it's great. And then you get to 7, it kind of eases up a little bit. Hogan really loved the 11th hole. It was kind of his favorite hole out here, which when you play it, you'll know why. It's just not an easy hole. He loves that hard stuff, but it's so much fun. You got to really think on every shot, and obviously missing short of the greens and putting it off the green. I do it well out here. I mean, that's I grew up putting around the golf course, and it was funny. And I was, like I said, most of the players kind of came through. And anybody that played or any of the caddies that came out, they would reach out to me. And Martin Keimer's caddy, he came out, he drove up, and he said, what's the key to this golf course? And I told him, I was like, you putt around the greens. And Keimer did that well. He made everything he stood over for 2 days in 14 and shot 65 and really catapulted him in the win. And, our course record on number 2 is 62. So Gibby Gilbert, Tom Watson, and Hale Irwin, we used to host those World Championships of Golf. And man, to shoot those scores out there is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, let's give this a little context. The U.S. Open tees, par 72 at number 2, tip out at 7,588 yards with a 76.5 rating and a 138 slope. So really an easy test of golf right there.
Well, and the bad thing about it, Teddy, is they play it as a par 70.
Oh,
so
God.
That makes it even harder. So they turned the 8th hole and the 16th hole, which it's funny when the golf course is firm and fast. Like, if you hit a good drive on 16, you're probably hitting a hybrid in or a 3-wood. Those guys are hitting driver, say 7-iron, 8-iron. They just hook it right around the bunker there, and just it's amazing to watch them play the golf course. But yeah,
those guys are good.
So it's they're good. They really are.
Well, we obviously in the Pro-Am we weren't playing the tips, but every hole we'd get up to the tee, and then the caddy would say, well, back there, that's where the boys play from, or check out where they hit it from, and you're just like, that's a completely different hole on some of those, especially number 4. From where we teed off, they were back almost by the 6th tee, I think, and for the was that a par? Is the 4th hole par 5?
4th hole it's par 4. It has been par 5 before. It's par 4, but it's a long
par 5.
it is for
me. Oh man, that's great. There was something in the clubhouse. Ben, there's so much memorabilia. There's pictures from all of the opens, the champions holding the trophies, and there's a trophy case that has all the replica trophies from the Ryder Cup and the opens. But what I loved was there on one of the walls there is a bunch of plaques that have some quotes from some golf legends, and there's one from Jack Nicklaus about number 2 that I wanted to read. I took a picture of it. And he said, "I've always thought Pinehurst number 2 to be my favorite golf course from a design standpoint. I've enjoyed going out on number 2 and seeing a totally tree-lined golf course without a tree coming into play." And, I did find some trees that came into play for me, but after reading that, I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, wow, he's right. That's pretty cool. Because, coming from New England, I love old traditional golf courses. I'm not a big Florida resort fan where there's condos lining everywhere and internal out of bounds. And so it was refreshing to come to Pinehurst. I mean, there's so many Donald Ross golf courses in New England, so it's kind of, reminds you of what we're used to up here, but it's just aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And that's, for someone like me who I love that. I love the look of a golf course, and that weighs heavily on whether or not I enjoy my golf experience. I just like the way number 2 looks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's taking it back to, it was wall to wall grass in the 99 Open. If you remember, Payne Stewart had to pitch out on 18 there and wedge it up and make a kind of a 20-footer to win the golf tournament. And like I said, taking it back to in 2011 when they made the decision, really it was probably made before then. After the 05 Open, they kind of started talking with the USGA and Mike Davis, and it's really, especially when the sun's setting in the afternoon and you kind of see the wiregrass kind of floating and a little bit of wind out there. From a design standpoint, like you said, it really fits the eye. I mean, Corey Crenshaw just did a fabulous job of bringing it back and kind of designing the little curves. The Donald Ross curves of the golf course, and the bunkering just looks fantastic. And it's we certainly rake it every day and get it in prime condition for the play, but the bunkers are a little bit different, right? So they're penalty areas in a sense of they're hazards. You don't get the same kind of nice sand in every hole, and sometimes you may be on a down slope, and so you really gotta think critically out there when you're playing the golf course. If your mind wanders a little bit, then you're going to make a double, or you make you hit a shot. But it's like I said, Mike, from a design standpoint, it's fabulous.
Well, Ben, I wasn't as smart as Keimer's caddy to call you beforehand and say, "Hey, how do I play this place?" But next year, we're coming back in 23 in March, so I'm going to make sure I give you a call beforehand, so you can give me a couple. Maybe I'll take a lesson before we go out. But Teddy and I played golf in high school together in the 90s, and I was a huge Payne Stewart fan, and
Me too.
I enjoyed watching him win the Open in 1999, and there's this pretty special tribute to Payne, right off the right by the 18th green off number 2, and I don't know if you can count how many people take their picture with the statue, but there's this amazing statue of the pose Payne made after winning the Open with one arm in the air, one foot in the air, and my team tried to recreate it. Payne was a better athlete than all of us, but talk to me about that. I mean, that's just such a special tribute. It's just a great addition to the resort, and I have no idea how many people take their picture standing next to Payne.
Have you ever seen a guy happier to win a tournament than that guy, Payne Stewart?
Well, he had some tough goes right before that. I can't remember what course, but he had almost won the US Open the year before,
he had come close a bunch.
Yeah, he'd come close a bunch, and I think if you watch the back nine of the golf tournament, right, him and Mickelson both, they kind of hit it all over the place. It just kind of shows you what the championship golf will do to your nerves in a golf course like this.
For sure.
He hit a bad drive. He didn't hit a great pitch out. I mean, it was close to getting back in the rough area, and he wedged it up there right in the middle, right where you can't go long. but it was 20 feet. I mean, it wasn't a gimme by any means. And just at that level with all the fans around, and to sink that putt, which if you look at that putt on the green, it does not look like it goes right to left. It looks like it goes left to right. So, I mean, obviously him and Mike Hicks, his caddy, read it perfectly, and just, it went right dead in the center. But, he didn't want to play, him and Mickelson don't want to play 18 more holes the next day. And just to win that, to make that putt, I mean, it's what dreams are made of, right? I mean, that's what you practice your whole life, whether you're in basketball, football, you're, as a young boy, you're throwing in the last shot to win the national championship, but to win the U.S. Open at Pinehurst, like that. I mean, I can only imagine what was going through his mind. But we called it internally, we call it one moment in time, right? So that was our moment. That was Payne Stewart's moment for us to share. I don't know if Payne would not have died in a plane crash later that year, whether there would have been a statue. I mean, who knows? But it was certainly our way to celebrate that moment for us and for Payne and his family. It's probably millions of pictures, right? I mean, let's say there's 100,000 guests that come through our hotel properties a year. There's also other people that come out, and most people may not know who Payne Stewart is that take pictures there, but they love the pose, and it's part of Pinehurst. And so everybody that does know that are big golfers, we're certainly going to take the picture. But it's great to see young kids and like I said, families. It's, again, the back of the clubhouse, right? So that's the special part. And that's what I told Bob Dedman one day. I was like, you got to be really proud of yourself, because the entire back of the clubhouse, you got the Deuce restaurant right there on 18, overlooking the 18th green. You got our members portion of the clubhouse. It's been renovated since 2013, and the members are vibrant. So you got people at Payne Stewart statue. Then you got the cradle. You got This'll Do. It's like, it truly is a celebration of golf here at Pinehurst. And I think that, those things make it, that's the lure, right? So you walk down the hallway, like you said, Mike, and you look at the history and the pictures and the champions. At the end, by the Deuce restaurant, you got all of our replica trophies, the women's amateur, you got the Ryder Cup trophy, you got the men's and women's opens, you got the U.S. amateur, which we held in 2019, won by Andy Ogletree. And so just so many great times and memories. And although it's it's a little different for everybody has something to take a picture of and something to share memories of and take. It's funny is that we look at those quotes and we're like, hey, is that enough? And, we're talking about renovating that hallway and trying to make the experience even a little bit better. But it's like, I don't think you can. I've seen so many people take pictures of those quotes. You got Watson, you got Nicklaus, you got Tiger. It's just awesome to see, and how much that those professionals appreciate what was here is truly remarkable.
No, it truly is, and there's also something special about number 2 if you make a birdie on one of the par 3s, right?
We do. We have a little Deuce coin that we've got every year. I've got a few of them here in the desk, but I don't have every year. But it's hard. It's hard out there. 6, 9 are two great holes. I mean, 6 is probably the hardest par 3 out there. 9 is I love 9. It's kind of in somewhat a signature hole. Zach Johnson made a hole in one out there in 14. And then you get to the back 9 and 15. Really, you feel like 15 is a fairly easy hole, but the depth of you kind of can see down the 16th fairway, so your depth perception is a little off. And historically, you hit it a little short of that flag because long is bad. And then 17, man, it's a hard hole to hit, especially when the greens are firm. And but it's become pretty cool to see people want to come back and try to make a birdie on the par 3, or if you hole it out on a par 4, you get a Deuce coin, and you pick it up in the Deuce there. So just kind of celebrating your round, you show them your scorecard, and just another little cool memento of what we do here.
So that double that I made on 17 is 2 over par. That doesn't count as a Deuce. That's
you don't get a Deuce.
Mike, I'll be happy to send you one.
No, I'm going to earn it. I'm going to keep coming back until I earn one. Thanks.
Well, isn't that funny? Some of our golf professionals, David Galinsky, he's over a pro manager at number 8, and he was here at the main club for a while as a head golf professional. And so, he has one for every year. And I was like, David, you can't get one. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you haven't earned it. Just like Mike said, I mean, you got to earn that deuce coin, buddy. So I'm going to have to show me, you're going to have to show me some scorecards so you can get that.
Take them back. Yeah, man. Take them back. Oh, that's funny. Well, I'm a member at a golf course in Massachusetts Bend. It's Donald Ross. It's called Worcester Country Club, and hosted the first Ryder Cup back in 1927.
Golf course.
And it shares something pretty special with Pinehurst number 2. I think Pinehurst number 2, Worcester, and I believe there's one other or three of maybe it's 4, but I think it's 3 golf courses in the United States that have hosted a men's and a women's U.S. Open in a Ryder Cup. So it's pretty special. So I was really excited to play number 2, to be able to say I played 2 courses that have hosted a men's, and obviously Pinehurst has hosted so many more additional major championships. When you return your golf cart to the cart area, and you have the logos of each one of those championships hanging on the wall. I took a picture of each of those, the cool designs for each different year. It's pretty special. It's amazing that a facility has hosted so many amazing golf events.
Yeah, it's we try to create those little areas. We're actually just hosting a new championship. So we've got the number 6 is hosting the U.S. Open Adaptive Championship. So we had media day for that on Monday, and really excited about that championship. And it's so they're going to have 2 trophies. So I don't know, Mike, if you remember the men's and women's dual trophy for the 14 Open, but that's kind of what the new championship logo. So I'm in the process of making 2 more of those signs down there, one for 24 and one for the Adaptive Open Championship. And we're really excited about that to showcase number 6. And I'm glad to hear, some of the things that we're doing, you're enjoying as a golfer, and you seem to be like myself, a little bit of a history buff. So I think those things kind of resonate with people, and I appreciate that.
No, absolutely, man. And I appreciate your time here today. And I know you're a busy guy running the Pinehurst Resort, so we don't want to take up too much more of your time. So I can't thank you enough. I've really enjoyed this. I am going to be sure in March of 2023, when we come back, I'm going to seek you out and buy a cup of coffee and chat a little bit more about the resort, and maybe get a insider tour of some areas from you. So again, thanks very much, and it's been really a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Well, Mike, Ted, I really appreciate you guys having me on. And as you can see, I've got a great passion for Pinehurst. I love it here. I'm going into my 9th season. And, again, as a North Carolina boy, I feel pretty lucky to be here. And I can't wait for you to come back and experience it. Ted, we got to get you here.
Yes, that's happening next year. You and I have to get together and talk about some tee times. I'll follow up with you in the next day or so and look at the calendar. We're filling up January of 2023 with as many California courses, and then working my way along the bottom southern part of the United States, hitting Estancia and Arizona, then Oak Tree National, then Dallas National, then Whispering Pines, and then making my way to Florida. And then hopefully, sometime the beginning of March, I think, is when I'll be getting close to Pinehurst number 2. But I'm really hoping that the stars will align and you'll be able to join in the foursome.
That'd be great
when we do come. But I can't thank you enough for today, and all the just nuggets of information that you shared about Pinehurst number 2 and Pinehurst, the whole resort. I am so looking forward to teeing it up with you once we get there in 2023. And thanks so much for your time. And folks, to get a director of golf of, a major resort that's on the top 100 for a little over 40 minutes is pretty amazing. So, Ben, thank you. Thank you for spending the time.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. And we're as you can see, like I said, I love talking about Pinehurst. It's a great area. And we've got more things to come. We've got a little bit, the hotel lobby's being renovated right now. And we're doing 43 rooms, 60 rooms next year, and we're going to create a little fire pit area out there by the Ryder Cup Lounge. And so lots to come. Like I said, Mr. Devlin, we're excited about his commitment to the property and making it even better. Every time you come, that we want you to remember a little something different. So really appreciate it. Look forward to meeting you guys, Ted on the tee, and Mike, and we'll see you next year as well.
Thanks, Ben. Take care, man. Really.
God bless, Ben. Take care. See ya.
Well, Teddy, that was really special to have Ben on. Pinehurst is a very special place for me. It's a very special place for many, many golfers, and I cannot stress how wonderful of a golf experience it is to go to the Pinehurst Resort, and certainly to play a Pinehurst number 2 is just an amazing experience. And please put it on your bucket list if you're trying to put a list of courses to play together, that especially the ones that are public and they're accessible. Pinehurst number 2 is the way to go.
Yeah, I can't wait to get out there, Higgy. And this has been a great episode. I'm so psyched we got a chance to talk to Ben. But that's it for this week. We want to thank you for watching and subscribing and commenting. And you can find all things Luckiest Golfer on Earth on luckiestgolferonearth.com. Please subscribe and join our email list. And we will be back next week with another amazing guest talking about another amazing 100 golf course or top 100 golf course. We're going to have golfing PGA professionals, golfing industry leaders, and some of the luckiest golfers on earth as guests. And we hope that you join us next week. So
can't wait.
Until then,
can't wait.
Thanks very much. And God bless you all. Have a great week. See you next week. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast. Please visit our website at luckiestgolferonearth.com and join our email list for all the latest exclusive updates and opportunities. We are working on a lot of fun surprises, and email subscribers will be the first to know. Have a great week, everyone, and may God bless all of you.